Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're one day removed from Real Madrid's 2-0 win over Celta Vigo. Really convincing win. And this video is just going to be like a roundup of the news the day after the win, I guess. But the major feeling and major consensus coming out of the club right now is that Asensio is back to his best, and that is what... Well, I guess that's what we saw yesterday, so it's not really news, it's more confirmation, I guess. But the general consensus is that Asensio is has a guaranteed spot in the squad now, and I wouldn't go that far and say that he's a guaranteed starter, but he's definitely our most informed winger besides Lucas Vazquez right now. And since we play with two wingers, obviously, he is a guaranteed starter in that sense, if that's one way to look at it. I mean, the way that Zidane plays is it really suits Asensio, or I guess Asensio suits the way that Zidane plays more. Yeah, that's probably the way it would go. And I guess that's just due to him being at the club for so many years now, and besides the 1 year without Zidane, he's been training with the same tactic the whole time. So it's no surprise to see Asensio back to his best. I mean, he only had an injury, or he was only returning from injury about probably, what is that, 8 months ago? Well, no, he returned in what, June? So it's like 6 months ago that he's returning from a devastating injury. So a lot of people didn't expect him to be back to the form that he's in now. I mean, it's only one game, and in the past games, yeah, he's been good, especially some in the Champions League. I remember him being good, but he's also had games where he's not as good. But honestly, thinking about it, he hasn't really had a bad game, which is a positive thing for sure. So yeah, with Asensio, I'm happy to see him back to his best. Sorry, I'm just unlocking my phone. I'm happy to see him back to his best, and I hope that this will carry out, and I hope that he doesn't get benched. Because if he's not getting benched, that's because he continues this form and he's unbenchable at that point. Okay, next we're going to talk about the Ramos-Modric contract, because specifically with Ramos, I'll get to Modric after, but with Ramos, his agent, which I believe is his brother, came out on Twitter or something and pretty much just scolded Real Madrid for the way that they're handling it, saying how can a club legend still have an outstanding contract not being, the situation still ongoing. And to an extent, I agree that he should be locked up. We shouldn't even, because right now he has the opportunity to talk to other clubs, and obviously that's not a situation that you want. But I believe Real Madrid wouldn't be in this situation with Ramos if they weren't confident that he was going to resign. I don't believe Ramos wants to go anywhere. I mean, you can see, obviously, he has passion for the club. He's our captain, obviously. One of the best captains we've ever had. And I don't think he wants to go anywhere. And I don't think he is going anywhere. So I'm not sure if this is just... And I'm not sure how his agent wouldn't know that. It's his brother. But... Sorry. But I'm just thinking. But I think maybe he's using this as a tactic to get leverage over Real Madrid, which is not what you would want coming from our club's captain, using the club and his agent like this. But I'm not sure if this is just him, not as an agent, but more as a brother and as a Real Madrid fan saying that. That I don't know. And in terms of Modric, there's been multiple stories coming out in the Spanish media saying that he's re-signed for 2 years. Next year will be his last season. So I guess a year and a half. And then Fabrizio Romano, that everybody knows, has said that there's no agreement. But the club is confident that he will re-sign. So there's two different stories going on, but he said for sure that there's no agreement yet. And he said with Ramos, I can't remember. Let me see if I could pull up the tweet here. I'm pretty sure there's no real change with Ramos, but I'm confident in Ramos. Let's see. Oops. is the Barcelona? Oh, Barcelona got Eric Garcia. Wow. Big deal. Yeah, that'll fix your defense. Let's see. Diallo. All right. Well, where is it? Pochettino. Okay. Oh, here's what Zidane said about it. We want it to be solved as soon as possible. And then he goes on to talk about Alaba, which I will get to in a minute. But there was one here. How about that Chelsea game, eh? I mean, if I was a Chelsea supporter, I think I'd be Lampard out right now. That's me, because I do not see the team they're just not playing for him at the moment. But okay, here it is. Positive feelings about the contract extension of Luka Modric with Real Madrid. No agreement signed yet. So, like I said, and then Sergio Ramos contract issue still pending. That's all he said. Oh, I thought he said more. Anyway, I believe that they will both be re-signing. They'd be stupid not to, and we're not a stupid club, obviously. So next we're going to talk about Kubo, because the news is coming out that Kubo is terminating his loan, and it seems like it's confirmed with the verbiage that they're using. This literally just came out. Actually, here, I'll put it on the screen for you. Oh, for some reason it's not going. Let's see if we can fix this up. Wow. There it is. Okay. All right. Sorry. So here's what's coming out is that. Hello? There it is. Okay. Real Madrid reached an agreement for the transfer. Or Villarreal. Okay, so I guess I didn't even know that. It's Villarreal's say to move him on loan. I thought Real Madrid would have to agree with it. Like I thought. Oh, wait. According to Real Madrid have given the green light for Kubo to move. Okay, so they have to still, I guess. What I thought would have happened was he would come back to Real Madrid and we would loan him out again. But I guess he could just move from one to the other, and Villarreal can agree it. But anyway, he has not been used at Getafe often this season, as we all know. What I have to say about that is that I'm just hoping that it's not Emery saying this guy is not good enough to fit into my team, because that is obviously concerning, because Villarreal is a top team and we want our lone players to be playing for top teams. I hope it's just him not being able to fit into the tactics that Emery's using, rather than Emery just discarding him because he doesn't like him, or he doesn't fit the tactic, or he's not good enough for the tactic, should I say. But it says here, have been a stumbling block. There has been a stumbling block over the 2.5. Okay. So is the money that money is paid to Real Madrid. Now does Getafe have to send money to Villarreal? Recover half of the amount to leave in January? And he has agreed. As soon as Monday, when he is expected to make a trip to Madrid to finalize the move. So he does have to come back to Madrid. So I was right. But anyway, I think Getafe is a great move for him. I mean, they're a team that is really good at developing talent. I can't think off the top of my head. Did Mario Gaspar come from there? They had... Oh, I'm trying to think now. Getafe... well, we have time. Why not? Getafe player alumni. Getafe football alumni. Is there like anything here? Supporters, European record. Current squad, out on loan. Okay, that's Real Madrid. I know this guy. Club officials, coaches, presidents. Who do they have? That's our goalie as well. Sorry, I think I know. Yeah, I know this guy. Chuco Hernandez. I think I've heard of this guy too. Diaby, I know. I feel like I know this guy too. Cucurella, that's the one I was thinking of. Cucurella is a really good player. So if they can... Chima, I think I know. I know a couple of these guys. I thought I knew more though. Oh, I know this guy too. Yene or Yene. I'm not sure how you say his name. But anyway, what I was trying to get at is if they can develop him in 6 months like they have Cucurella. I thought Cucurella was Uruguayan. He's Spanish. Okay. Sorry, I have to. Yeah, he's always I thought he was Uruguayan for some reason. Okay, well. Anyway, so I'll get off of this so it's not confusing me. So what was I going to say? So I hope that he can develop into a good player for the future, obviously, but the way it's looking, he's probably not going to be a Real Madrid player next season either, just because the way this loan, if he had a really good loan this year, then I could see him coming back to the team and playing a role kind of like how Brahim did last season, which is not a bad thing. But because here's the thing is that, yes, he's not going to get as many minutes as he would on loan, but the experience of even going to training with these world-class players every day is more than enough when, like, to have a player. Obviously, first year, second year in Spain, you want a player out on loan just so they can get experience to the playing style, because there's nothing like there's nothing like actual game time experience. But there's something to be said as well as sorry, I got confused. I'm still reading this. Okay, I'm hiding this, that way it's not going anywhere. Okay, that is not helping my light either, so I have to open it back up just so I have white on my screen. Okay. Fuck, what was I saying? Oh, there's something to be said about training every day with players of the caliber of Hazard and of in his position would be like someone like Hazard, like Asensio, like Lucas Vazquez. Training with them as opposed to the players like we saw here on Getafe or on Villarreal, or last season it was on Mallorca especially. There's something to be said about having that experience as well, which is why we had him in our training camp his first year when we signed him. We had him in our training camp and he played the preseason with us before going on loan. And that was, who was I thinking of that also happened with? Was I can't put, oh, and Rayner. See, Rayner didn't, obviously he couldn't feature for the team because he is international. He's non-European, and we already have all our non-European spots taken up. But him training with the team was definitely both of them was definitely an experience that they needed. Now, I forgot about Rayner. I wasn't really planning on talking about him, but the only thing that I have to say is that he was not included in Dortmund's 23-man squad. I'm not sure if he's injured or not. I will Google it, because why not? Injury. Rayner Jesus. Unhappy on loan. Is unhappy with this time. With his playing time at Borussia Dortmund. They were hoping he can be Achraf Hakimi, which is another one which we don't have for some reason, which would be nice this season, but also Lucas Vazquez, which is why he's not on the team. Anyway, I don't think there's much. So there was no injury. Hold on, maybe there was. Anyway, I know that he was unfit in the summer before he moved there, obviously because he hadn't played in 6 months. They could have left him in Brazil for 6 months, then brought him, but I guess they were just playing it safe or whatnot. But it's a 2-year loan, so he'll be there for the rest of this season and next season unless they do something similar to Kubo. I'm not as concerned about this one as I am with Kubo, just because it's a 2-year loan and you're at Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, it's harder to get into the team when you haven't played. It's harder to get into a Borussia Dortmund team than a Villarreal team anyway. But also when you haven't played in 6 months and you're trying to get up into match fitness for Borussia Dortmund, that's where the concern is. Now they do have other young players like that German striker and Bellingham, which are both fantastic players. But Bellingham played last season. Mukoko has been playing for the youth team, so it's understandable. But I think that is still a perfect spot for him. What's the word? I guess I'm excited to see what position he ends up playing in, because people said that he played a number 10, but he can also play as a number 9 or as a false 9 perhaps. So I'm not sure whose shoes he'd be fitting in at Real Madrid, if we'd be using him as a striker, what the intention is, or if we'd use him as an Isco Odegaard type player. But anyway, I'm excited to see what he brings. Sorry, I didn't even mean to talk about that. What was the last thing I was going to talk about? Was David Alaba and what's going on with that. So, I talked about it yesterday. There's reports saying that he, sorry, these lights are bright and I'm not used to it. There's reports saying that he's coming to the team in January. There's reports saying that he's going to sign as a free agent next season. There's reports saying that he's not signing. Excuse me. So I don't know what to believe. But I do also see reports saying that Real Madrid are not making any signings in January. And I believe that, because if you're not making signings in the summer because of money constraints, then you better not be making signings in January, because that's just contradicting yourself. But what was I going to say? Do I want him at the team? This is my opinion now. He has a bad injury record. He's had a bad injury record recently, and that's not something that we want knowing our staff, our fitness staff, sorry. But the thing that's good about Alaba is he can play in multiple positions. We can play him as a left back. We can play him as a center back. We can play him as a CDM, which is what we would need the most from him, because obviously for rotation with Casemiro. Now, would he be willing to come to Real Madrid knowing that he would be a backup? That is the real question, because I believe at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, he is a starter right now. Especially like last season, we were watching the Champions League, he was a starter. Would he be open to moving to Real Madrid and playing less time instead of moving to a Manchester United, who are also linked to him, where he would guaranteed start, or he should guaranteed start anyway, especially with his dynamicism. That is the question. So what I would say is just don't believe everything that comes out until Fabrizio says it, or until someone what's it called, concrete says it, because there's this Jose Felix guy or whatever from Spain. I'm not too familiar with the news outlets from Spain, but he came out and is saying, like, he had a whole article come out talking about I think it's the state of Real Madrid or something like that, and then the last line was also Alaba can sign for Real Madrid. So that's like him clickbaiting with the last line, but also if he doesn't sign, then it's not his fault, because he said he could sign. So I wouldn't take that with a grain of salt at all. But anyway, would I want him at the team on a free with his wages? Here's what I would say. If that signing, for whatever reason, makes us not able to buy Mbappe, Haaland, or any of our targets, then absolutely not, because he is not a few, like, we don't, that's not a need per se. It's not a need. Mbappe is not a need, obviously, because we're winning league games, and we won the league last season without Mbappe. But that is to show our what's the word? Oops. To show our desire. I think there's another word I'm looking for, but whatever. That's like to show our desire that we want to continue in the future. Whereas with Alaba, that's not. He's just a player for now, and it would be a luxury player. Nice to have him on the team, and that's the way I look at it as well. It would be nice to have, but don't force it. And if he's for whatever reason hindering bigger transfers, then don't even bother with it. And that's where I'll leave it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. If there's any questions, leave them down below. And all right, I'll see you next time. That is the peace sign. Yes. Goodbye. Let me look at the camera. Goodbye.